Okay, this is how to build the Aspire Atlantis. I'm not going to go through all that bullshit of here's Chris coming at you on YouTube, because I ain't fucking coming at you. I'm showing you how to build an Atlantis. So let's try and keep this a little bit more normal. Anyway, my nephew has got one of these. He's having trouble with the original coils spitting, which I've never had, but I told him he took a couple out and he's got them just laying around, so I told him how to I'm going to show him how to rebuild them. So anyway, here's a list of things you're going to need. Ohm meter. If you've got a regulated box mod like this, I've got a IPv2 and a Sigelli. Really no need for an ohm meter. You can put it in there to read the ohms for you. But I have one for rebuilding RDAs at very low ohms. Okay, anyway, one of those Aspire Atlantis pair of tweezers. These are just normal, they're not ceramic tips or anything like that. Wire cutters, pliers, needle nose. Here's some wire cutters, just normal ones, which are just fine for this if you don't have these little flashy ones. A heat torch, and again, if you don't have one of those, well, just I found even a normal lighter or a barbecue lighter will do just fine. I have a selection of screwdrivers and sometimes wrap coils around this one, but I think they're maybe a bit big for this. And these drill bits, which we are going to be using. So first of all, let's take this thing apart. And I don't have any original coils left in these. They are actually my own builds. But we will assume that there is one in there. First of all, you're going to need some sort of tissue paper, because this is pretty messy. And then take that out. And then what I normally do is just wrap this and kind of press it around and cover the bottom up and blow in the end, getting the excess juice out. We'll pretend that that's already done. I've got another coil here that's actually dry and ready to go. So again, this is one of my rebuilds. You just pull the end out. You can get them out with just your fingers, or if not, just get that in there. It pulls out real simple. Then you have a insulator. Go ahead and pop that one out. Once that's popped out, the coil is now free to push out. If you've got the original coil, I would say getting something like a screwdriver, probably something a little fatter than this, or maybe a bigger drill bit. And with the original coil, just put it at the bottom and just push him out through the top. Actually, that is a little bit too big of a drill bit. And you just push him out through the top. With the original one, it sits vertically, and there is a lot of wicking material in there. And when you look down inside, hang on, let me get another light here. When you look down inside, your other one may have come apart when you push this out, and you will see still some wicking material stuck around the edges. Get a little precision flat blade screwdriver and get that stuff out. I don't really use that stuff, and I'll show you why later on in this build. But once you've got that all clean and there's nothing else left in there, put it to one side. And I can't remember if this was, I think this was a 24 gauge build that I had in here, but we're going to do a 26 today. 5 turn 26 cathode, which I have right here. And I've rebuilt and rewicked these Atlantis very many times, and I've had quite a few leaks, so I'm going to show you how I do it to get over the leaking. Let's see if I can get the candle off the reel. Again, this is 26 gauge. I'd say a piece about, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches long, which is what, for a guy, 6 to 8 inches is about that long. But seriously, 6 to 8 inches long. Alright, and this is how I gauge which drill bit to put it around. If you get your Atlantis, and we're not doing a vertical build, by the way, we're doing horizontal. Should have mentioned that at the start. But if you go through one of these horizontal holes, see that drill bit doesn't fit, so we go to the next size down. That one, oh I see, I've got one of those ones which got a little bit of metal sticking out on this one. Okay, so we'll go to the next size till you get something to go through that hole and come out the other side. There we go. Once I found that, I actually go two drill bit sizes up from that, because this Atlantis, with it being sub-ohm and needing more watts, like 25 to 30, you really got to keep those wicks wetted and sucking juice. And I find that if you wrap a coil around exactly the same size drill bit as what goes through there, it tends to get the wick a little too tight and doesn't feed the juice through it very well. So I've got one here 2 sizes bigger, so I'm going to leave that right there. This is pretty easy. Just hold in there like that. We're going to do 5 turns. There's one. And I say that's one, when you actually turn it over it's 2. So I normally count that as 2. 3, 4. This is winding kind of as tight as I can, but you don't have to be. Right, that should be 5 when we turn him over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see this is not too tidy. I'm doing this on purpose, not getting it perfect. Plus I got a Nikon D800 with a big wide angle lens sat in my way, which makes it hard and fiddly. Okay, and just now cut these off a little longer than you would with like an RDA. You want one longer than the other. And then what I do is grab them here, put them out and down, and holding on to the coil on there, and up. I'll tighten it up a little bit more. And with these, you actually want them pointing back towards the middle slightly. And I'll show you why when we put this inside. We want to try and keep them both away from the edge, or certainly one of them, because one of them can't touch the edge. The positive and the negative can touch the side of the atomizer, but something like that's pretty good. Alright, next thing is to heat this and get the coil a lot tighter. You don't have to, I mean you can use it just like that, which actually I've never done in one of these. Maybe that'll let more juice through. But we're going to have them a little tighter. So I'll just squeeze them together gently with a pair of tweezers and go ahead and heat them. Just going to get them started. We'll just heat them up until he glows red. Turn them over, glowing red on that side. Now your tweezers are going to heat up if you haven't got ceramic tips. Okay, let's say if you don't have a heat torch, I mean you can use, if you've got one of those windproof lighters or anything like that, just a flame, something hot to heat it up. Okay, you can see now it's a lot more closed off. Let me see if I can get a better shot of that. A bit too close there, but a little tighter. Okay, next stage. It's cooled down enough for me to Start touching a little closer. Right, the next stage is a bit fiddly. There's the top. We're just gonna drop him in there, just somewhere loose. Grab over the legs. Alright, we're going to put this little drill bit back through and try and thread it through the side of the coil, like so. So now I've got the coil held in there by this, which means I can now pull on the bottom. So this shorter leg, I'm just going to go, you'll see these little recesses in the side here. That's where that rubber grommet sits in, and gives it a little bit more room for these to come in. So what I'm going to do is just pull on that slightly and then bend it like so. Now you'll find that the coil will go off one side. Don't worry about any of this at this stage. Next thing, rubber grommet. This long lead goes inside through the middle. Very important. Through the middle. And then you'll see these little tabs. Actually, that grommet's pretty damn dirty. There's little tabs on the side that line them up with the little metal indentations on the side of there, and we will pop him back in like so. Then this one going through the middle is now your positive lead. We're going to pull on him and turn him again around, dead opposite to that one, so he's lined up with the other tab. I wonder if that'd give a maybe white background and give it a little bit better look. So now we've got to this stage, and now the coil is actually sat more to the middle. But again, if it's not, don't worry about it. Next thing is, if I can find the metal plug. This is one other thing you don't want to do, like I just done, and lose everything. There he is, he rolled off the table. Okay, and just give him a little push and he's in there. Doesn't matter how that one goes in, no matter where those holes face. Okay, so now that coil can actually sit on its own. And remember, the coil inside is 2 sizes bigger than this one. So when we come to wick him, we're going to have a bit of free space in there. We're going to go ahead and cut these off. You can use nail clippers actually for this, but we're going to cut him off as close as we can. Remember, this thing pings all over the place. So I've stepped on this before, and it's not nice when you've got to try and pull it out of your foot when it's on the carpet. There. Alright. That's pretty tidy. Okay, next thing is wicking. A lot of people like to use this Japanese wick. I do have some. I was using it for a while. I don't mind it. It's kind of good for this sort of stuff. It keeps its shape and pops the holes up. But I really like this organic cotton, which I picked up at Walgreens for about $5 for like 100 balls of it, and it's really nice, very open. And we'll just tear off a piece. We only want a very, very thin piece. So just sort of mould it in your hands, try not to press it too hard. Remember, it's got to go through that little hole right there. So I just tease it around. A lot of people skip this part on these videos. Well, I'm not going to. It's going to be a continuous video. Japanese cotton can be a little easier because you can peel the individual layers off. Oh, I like this stuff. Okay, my twisty end. Okay, we've got this. Let's move this out of the way so you can see the white against the black. There you go, you've got this tiny little end here. And we're going to thread him through the side and through the coil. Actually, that coil's turned a little bit in there. Straighten him up. Find it, get a little bit of its springiness back. There. Another thing, I burnt this in tweezers. I torched the coils while they were in tweezers. don't torch these like you would on an RDA, heat them up and then torch them while it's actually in there, because that little that little rubber grommet in there, when you do that, it actually burns it and gives you that really nice burnt taste. So try not to do that, because you really don't want that taste, and you don't get rid of it until you replace that grommet, which basically is means a new atomizer. Right, this now slides easy. All it's catching on is actually these outsides, because it can't catch on the coil, because we built it a couple of sizes bigger than the drill bit that went through. So the thinking behind that is that this wick will wick it through and keep a little bit more juice on there. The cotton will actually expand to the coil, but it won't be tight. Alright, once you get to this stage, I'm going to cut him off not too close, maybe like that, maybe like an 1/8 of an inch, or actually maybe a 1/4 of an inch. Same the other side, like so. Okay, and we're just going to grab a bit of off-cut camphor, and we're just going to fluff him up. Remember, we rolled this up a little tighter, so I just want to open it up a little bit. These are terrible for leaking when you build your own. That's why the reason I don't build the vertical coils, which I've done a couple, and they come out real nice, except the lead that comes off the top of the vertical coil has to go from the top all the way down. It's longer than the other one. And when you're heating it up, it gets what they call a hot leg. That one leg gets extremely hot. It makes the atomizer extremely hot. It's also, the whole thing is a pain in the ass to wick. I'll try and find my other screwdriver here. I've got a flat blade. You just see the coil there's slightly one side. Put him in the middle, just push him over. And we dropped him. Then what I like to do is just, now we've got it fluffed up, just prod him back in just a touch, really gently, a little bit at a time. So not too much. We're going to leave a little bit like that and just push him flat. This tends to stop the leaking as well. Okay, something like that. What it does, it just bulges that wick up inside, look. Because with this thing, you've actually got extra holes here that we've not put anything in. Those extra holes are just, the juice can go in there, and then they actually goes around the side to your wicks. So if you've got that little bulge in there like that, it will actually stop it and help wick. That's why I like that little bulge in there. Now the only trouble is with that, there's nothing at the top to stop it. So I find when it's in the cup holder in the car and you tilt it a little bit and the vibration, it leaks. So I'm going to show you how to get over that, which is really fiddly. Just grab a little bit of cotton. We'll pull it out. This is where Japanese cotton can really come in handy. Do you know what? Let's use a piece. I can do it with the organic, but I guess we'll show use for this stuff. Let's just grab a whole piece, like so. Alright, and we're just going to cut. I actually like to cut this stuff with my clippers. We'll cut a piece. Might be a little bit on the big side, but I'll go with it. Something like that. Alright, so we've got that little piece there. Tighten that. That stuff stuck to me. Okay, and we'll peel him even thinner. So it's a very thin piece. And then we're going to cut that piece in half. And all we're going to do is just block the top of those two channels inside to stop any leaking. And what it will do is hit this and actually fall on your wicks that are going through the coil. Now this is real fiddly. So you need some juice. And you see these little ridges inside, just inside there. We're going to put maybe just a drop or two of juice on there. Okay, I didn't realise the camera shut off. This is a Nikon D800. It will record for 20 minutes and then it shuts off to make sure the sensor don't get too hot. And I carried on yip-yapping and didn't realise, so I've got to use the old coil here just to show you that step that I was doing. So that ridge in there, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple drops. I think this is where I got to on the last part of the video. A couple of drops, those little square bits that we had cut. This is an off cut I had laying around, but you know, the other ones were a little bit more tidy. You just kind of tease them, tease them. See, like you're just squeezing it in that little channel. And just slowly work it in. Doesn't have to be perfectly tidy, as long as it gets in that channel and just blocks the top. You want to check the hole here as well. Look, you can just start seeing it come in. We don't want to block that hole. We want as much juice going in there as possible. So I would say, you know, if we just get the top and just kind of scrunch it down without sliding it down any further. Okay, and as I said before, what this will do now, that ridge, you can see the one on that side. This ridge here, like, it's filled up with cotton. So now when it's tilted, the free flowing juice that goes in this hole won't actually leak out. What it'll do, it'll go in that cotton, it'll wick around and actually go to the cotton on either side. You can actually see in this one I've got a completely different build. This is I think it's 2 pieces of 26 maybe. I can't quite see in there, but this is quite a wide coil. This one is 0.4 ohms. But anyway, back to yeah. So now the juice won't come up. It'll actually, if you tilt it like that, it'll come up, stop at that cotton, and wick around without it going anywhere. Do the other side exactly the same, and I think now this is where the other part of the video takes off. What I like to do is, when this is all together, I like to suck on the top and that little hole there, I like to go like that as I'm drawing through it, and just keep on going. It just tends to bring that juice through, and you'll notice when it starts coming through, you'll get little air bubbles come up through here. That will actually tell you that it's priming. You're displacing the air with juice. Okay, we're going to fill this up. This is my homemade tobacco juice, which is 95% PG, VG. Only I don't like the PG. It gives me a funny reaction in my throat. Plus, I love the smoothness of VG, and also the flavour and denseness is just great. But yeah, 95.5. It's quite a ratio. It's not something you really get in the stores. Even the clouds chasing juice in the stores. I like what I'm going to do first. I'm just going to start it off on that second to smallest hole. Take this off of here, and we will put it on the IPv2. Normally I vape this at about 25 to 30 watts on a 0.5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this down to, let's get it round about, I don't know, 14 watts. Just make sure it's primed. Okay. That's me just, as I'm sucking on that, just putting my finger over the hole. You see these tiny little air bubbles? Look, there's ones there. I want them to start rising out. Now I can taste juice now. Look, you can see, look at them. They come out the sides there and start coming up. displace the air with juice. Okay, we're going to take a little hit on 14. Okay. Alright, that tastes pretty good. Now of course this is a 0.78, so there's no need to go up too high. Probably 20 watts. Alright, this is 20. Yep, no dry hit. I'm going to open the hole a little bit more. That one tastes pretty good. This is really just to show you it works. It's not one of those dickhead moments like I always see on the net. It's actually showing 0.8 on here because I don't have the third decimal point on the IPv3. Oh, IPv2, sorry, like the IPv3 does. Alright, this is 25, second to largest air hole. There. That's it. Look, and look, you can see those big air bubbles coming out now. That's what you want to see. And you should be fine. That shouldn't leak. It's quite a nice build. Probably around about 20s. A nice all day setting. Put it back down to 20 and probably close the hole down a little tighter. I just like that. Get a little bit denser off of that. If I want clouds and all that stuff, I'll put an RDA on. Flavour's good. I guess that's about it. Thanks for watching.